Hola, mi gente, and welcome to Cuéntame con Sonia Camacho. This short form podcast features the stories of Latinos from our community, from engineers, business owners, students, and so much more. Each episode will give you a quick boost of motivation and encouragement before starting your day. I'm your host, Sonia Camacho. Thank you for being here. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to Cuéntame con Sonia Camacho. Today I have an awesome guest, Sam Parra. He is the owner and founder of PARRA Wine Co, which is actually a local business here in Beaverton. I am going to let him take the floor and just kind of tell you all how he got into the wine industry. He was kind of destined for it. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear his story. And if you're a wine lover out there like me, definitely check out their business. I will have all their information linked on this episode. But without further ado, Sam, please take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Sonia, for having me as a guest on Cuéntame con Sonia Camacho. The full name is Juan Samuel Parra. Short would be, more in English, would be Sam Parra. And of course, for my last name in Spanish, you roll the R's in Parra. So, yeah, a background would be both sets of my grandparents on maternal and paternal came to work to Napa Valley at the tail end of the Bracero program, and they worked decades in pristine Napa Valley vineyards, and then it trickled to the next generation. My uncles, I do have two uncles that own Vinos Unidos, a brand in Napa where they are a bit in a same story situation as myself, where they do not own a vineyard. They buy grapes and they process where my uncle is employed. But a big difference is that they have access to a co-op tasting room in downtown Napa. Where for myself right now, I don't have a tasting room at all that I'll cover later on. But then it trickles down to my generation, the nietos. Um, I'm turning 46 at the end of this summer. Um, I've been in the business for 26 years. I first got to visit out here in wine country in 1999 when I was 21 because I worked for a winery in Napa Valley that founded a winery in the Dundee Hills. And I fell in love with the area instantly back then. So to fast forward to more recently, when I moved from Napa Valley, or I'm sorry, from Sonoma County, was in the summer of 2016, and my wife and myself we settled in Dallas, Oregon, west of Salem, and I operate in a co-op in McMinnville. So my business right now is at a level where I buy grapes, I rent space at a custom crush facility in McMinnville, where it's just for commercial purpose. There's basically no tasting room, but I am growing enough to possibly open a tasting room in the beginning of 2025. But right now, I have a daytime job Thursday through Sunday, and they give me freedom to operate my brand. I mean, not at my daytime employer, not with the winery that I'm employed at, but as far as giving me the freedom to be on the same business as they are as well. So Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm either working on the production side of my wines, or I'm out selling directly to wholesale markets, or I do pop-up events as well. So for September, it will be a great window because it's during Hispanic Heritage Month. I actually belong to an association of Latino winemakers, and the Instagram handle, if you want to follow, Celebrating Hispanic Roots, is the Latino alliance of Latino-owned brands through wine country out here in Oregon. And so that will be taking place in September. But again, for myself, not having a tasting room right now, The best way to connect with me, I do have my email and phone number available through my Instagram and Facebook account. I do make local deliveries through the Portland metro area. I even take routes where I go over to Corvallis and Albany and Eugene. So I have some really good accounts throughout the states where wine lovers can just reach out to me directly, whether I'm doing a personal delivery or I'm helping them to tell them what accounts I have near them to find my wines.
I love that. And I saw that you guys are selling at Old Zen Wine Bar in West Salem now, I believe. And
Correct.
that's like our local spot, our holy grail for where that's where I'm from, West Salem. So anytime I'm
Oh,
with
got it.
family, that is our go-to spot. So all my local people in Salem, definitely check them out there. I really want to get into kind of like any struggles as a Latino and especially like opening up a business from the ground up, but also just being in wine industry, like what were some of the things that you had to go through that maybe you wish you knew sooner, so if there's anyone out there that's, thinking of starting their brand or whatever, maybe to give them some inspiration.
Yes. I I really feel that for the industry that I'm in, there are so many companies that started their wine brand for their passion, where they made lucrative money doing something else before. Where for myself, it was quite the opposite. I began to save for my brand, very serious in January of 2017, and I only have Mondays off with my wife. So on Tuesdays, I would go in mobile bottling trucks to go do hand labor at wineries. And basically, by a year and 9 months, I was financially ready to process at a different co op I was at the time to process 3 tons. And so, my advice for the wine industry is, um, be financially ready. Um, have a career first that's going to be more financial beneficial for you before you start to save to start more of your passion career in wine industry, because on a small scale, especially with not having a lucrative financial background, this is something where the hustle has to be nonstop within you, because you are competing out with very established wineries and that are definitely producing a lot more wine than a small little brand like myself. Um, so that's what I have to say for folks that again have the passion in wine and want to get into the business, at least for the production side, is go go make your money doing something else first.
Smart.
Because again, the startup for a wine brand is very
Well,
expensive.
to with the last few minutes that we have, can you touch on anything to kind of like give back to the La Comunidad or whatever, like any inspiring words as a Latino that you can share with us?
Oh, definitely. So, a group of Latino professionals in the wine industry, we started. We were officially a nonprofit in 2019. It's AIVOY. It's Asociación Hispana de la Industria de Oregón y Comunidad. It's the acronym. I'm sorry. Let me cover that one more time. It's Asociación Hispana de la Industria de Vinocola en Oregón y Comunidad is the acronym AIVOY. And what we do, it's a partnership with Shemeketa, which is in Salem,
Yeah.
and it's a non-credit pilot program where we are mentoring Latino vineyard workers, which we actually give a title of empowerment, and we like to say vineyard stewards, as in stewards of the land, and encourage them to pursue higher learning in order for them to advance their careers in the wine industry. And I am co-chair of the nonprofit Ahí Voy. And something else to tie in with my culture is I have a lot of my wines that that have Spanish names to them. So one of my red blends is called Consulta, which would be a consultation with a therapist. So the wine in your glass is your therapy session.
Love it.
And then I have a dessert wine called Dulce Remedio. So the wine would be your sweet remedy. I
Mhm.
also make a white blend, and I am the first Latino I know for sure in California and Oregon. I'm doing some research for the few Latino owned wine brands in Texas, but I might be the only Latino wine brand in the domestically in the US that is canning wine. I
Oh.
have two wines in cans and they're sparklings.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, so that's something unique. And also, like for my rosé, I call it rosado. And I also make a white dessert wine called Postre
Like,
Lujoso.
I'm writing all of these down because I'm like, I need to try all of them for sure. Well, with that, I think that is kind of all the time that we have, but I'm super excited to have interviewed you. And I know we talked a lot about, your business, how you got into it, and then the initiatives that you're working towards now. Like I said, I will have all of the links to get in contact with Sam Parra on this episode. So definitely check them out. And this is releasing in September. And as Sam said, there are going to be a lot of different it's events and what more was it that we can expect this month?
Yeah, exactly. So for September, it happens mid September through mid October, and coordinating with Latino with Hispanic Heritage Month. I belong to an association called Celebrating Hispanic Roots, where it's a group of Latina winemakers, and we organize. Or our main event is actually a winemaker dinner at a restaurant in Newburgh.
Cool. Well, definitely,
Yeah.
listeners, get in contact and definitely check it out and stay in touch on Instagram. That is all the time that we have today. But thank you so much, Sam, for being a part of this episode. And I hope you guys go and check out the brand. Follow the podcast on all social platforms at Cuéntame con Sonia Camacho. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Want to be featured in a future episode? Email cuéntame.sonia@gmail.com. Thank you to our equipment sponsor, Shure.